Hey there, Bible nerds. Welcome back to Chapters and Chuckles by Kaye, where we dive into the Bible chapter by chapter. Welcome to the final episode of our Exodus series. We have journeyed across plagues, parted seas, and wandered in law and legend, and now we stand at the finishing line, the construction of the tabernacle. And for those tuning in for next episode news, we have big news. Well, I have big news because I'm just a one-person crew. Next season's theme is Revelation, the Lamb, the Beast, and the battle ahead. Think of it as a Game of Thrones meets Bible study. It's a dramatic, visionary title, and trust me, it matters a lot in today's world. With everything that's happening right now, and not just in the U.S., but in the world in general, I believe that it is important to talk about the future, as it was written in the Bible, the prophecy, John's prophecy. So stick around. But right now, let's finish building this ancient sanctuary with a mix of humor, reflection, and reverence. So grab a drink, get cozy, and let's dive in. All right, chapter 36, curtain call for the sanctuary. So picture this. The mountain has passed all its commands to Moses, and now Moses is rallying the Israelites to build a mobile holy mansion. The chapter explodes into activity. Moses calls the craftspeople, Bezalel and Oholiab, and every skilled artisan, and they go nuts. Everyone's bringing donations, gold, fabrics, ivory, you name it. In fact, the donation pile up so fast that they have to stop the collection because there was just too much. It was not necessary anymore. The Bible text amusingly notes that the people are bringing much more than enough for doing the work that the Lord has commanded us to do. So Moses makes a stern announcement. No man or woman is to make anything else as an offering for the sanctuary. So imagine the logistics meeting, like, folks, we love your enthusiasm, but please stop mailing us offerings. Our storage tent is overflowing. So once the materials are in place, the skilled artisans roll up their sleeves. On verse 8, it reveals all those with skill among the workers made the tabernacle with 10 curtains. They were made of fine twisted linen and blue, purple, and crimson yarns, and cherubim skillfully worked into them. So think of it as ancient textile nirvana. The workers are weaving tapestry, each 28 cubits long, roughly 42 feet, and 40 cubits wide, all with cherubim embroidered into the cloth. It's less Bob the Builder and more Bob the Divine Weaver. Each curtain is like a scene from Cherubim Fashion Week, Israel edition, with winged guardians stitched into them. Next up, hook and loop action. They take the 5 curtains and seam them together, then the other 5 likewise. On the edge of the outer curtains of each set, they made 50 loops each. 50 loops per curtains. It's like it's like beating a giant ceremonial curtain for an epic temple entrance, if you can imagine that. Then in pure gem of engineering style, he made 50 clasps of gold and joined the curtains one of the other with clasps. So the tabernacle was one whole. So picture 2 massive sets of 5 curtains, each looped 50 times with gold clasps. It's essentially shimmering heavy-duty Velcro made of gold. It's handiwork on... It is a handiwork, I can't even explain, on an extreme scale. Like extreme. So if curtains were the first act, then Next came the roof. We've never talked about the roof yet, actually. So the text in the Bible tells us they crafted 11 curtains of goat's hair as a tent over the linen curtains. Each of these was 30 cubits by 40 cubits, so 45 feet by 6 feet, also sewn in sets of 5 and 6. They again put 50 loops and 50 bronze clasps to join them. So if you are keeping track, because it's hard to keep track of this, honestly, but that is 100 loops and 100 clasps for the roof. Talk about heavy latch duty. Finally, they stitch on a covering of tanned ram skin and a covering of fine leather over everything. Think of it as waterproofing, ancient style. If anything, everything that was done ancient style were actually more effective than whatever they're doing now. It's like layering up for a desert storm. Cloth, then hair, then leather. Safety first, covenant second. Of course, they didn't stop at the tent cloth. They built the actual framework. The frames were acacia wood, 20 on each of the long sides and 8 in the back, with 2 specially crafted corner frames. 40 silver bases support those frames, 2 to each frame. Then they made 5 wooden bars per side and a middle bar. Overlaid everything with gold and attached rings and poles. This is a mix of fine carpentry and gilding. Imagine guild meetings of carpenters and goldsmiths negotiating over measurements and gold leaf usage. One guy's at a beach polishing a base with silver, another hammering gold onto a bar. Oh, I'm thirsty. By the end of chapter 36, we have the skeleton of the tabernacle standing, curtains neatly hooked, frames in place with golden overlays, and a cover layered with a luxury tent. Every piece meticulously done in accordance with all that the Lord has commanded. The Israelites are on a creative high, each step done by command and by craft. So, in the whirlwind, why is that so hard to say? In a whirlwind. Anyways, of cloth and craftsmanship, we can pause to reflect. This chapter showcases community, synergy, and obedience. A whole people funneling their creativity into a sacred project. The broad theme here could be the intersection of divine command and human creativity. God gives the blueprint, and the people respond with skill and generosity. It's a reminder that spiritual life isn't just theory. It's hands-on work done together. Each stitch and clasp is worship. Each hammered frame is a prayer made visible. There's something profound about ordinary folks making something extraordinary for God. Maybe today it challenges us to consider, how do we use our talents and resources for sacred purposes? In these verses, the divine meets the daily handiwork of life, suggesting that worship can be woven into even the most mundane tasks. As for myself, I don't really know what my talent is, honestly. My personality, ever since I had my daughter, almost 5 years ago, is just motherhood. That's me. That's my personality. That's my hobby. Just being a mom, being a parent. So even before that, when I was still, childless, I don't even honestly know what my talent is. I can do a lot of things. I would not say I'm an expert on a lot of things. I know the basic of a lot of things. Even my job, I'm a program manager. I would not consider myself as, I do my job really good, but as far as being an expert, there's still a lot of things that I don't know. And again, I've only been a program manager for 3 years. So anyways, specifically acquisition. So I mean, that's all I know, and I don't even know all of it. So that's not really my talent. That's just my career. So, but I want to spread, not, I want to say the word, but I want to spread awareness about the Bible, about God. And kind of like Moses, I'm also introverted. Talking to people is not something that I'm very good at, talking to people in person. So here I am, recording in the comfort of my own home without people watching me, people staring at me, and I'm sharing, the Bible in a storytelling way, you know. So not necessarily going over like, every scripture, but I'm trying to go about this in a different manner. I'm telling you a story because usually that catches all the attention of people more, I think, than just reading the scriptures. And then me personally, if somebody was telling me a story, like like the actual history written in the Bible, that would catch my attention, and I would personally want to listen more to that than kind of like than a I'm blanking right now. Anyways, so yeah, so I guess for now I consider this a talent that I can do. I know we should get out of our comfort zone, but for now this works for me. So, anyways, yeah. So I digress. Fun fact corner. So let's talk about the colorful chemistry. I don't think I've ever talked about the colors yet, and I talk about it all the time. Blue, purple, crimson, yarn. So the dyes for blue, purple, and crimson yarn came from expensive sources, actually. Snails and sea murex for purple, for example. So these vivid colors in the tent signifies royalty and divine presence. A common theme in temple attire across cultures. So in a sense, the tabernacle was the most colorful rental property in history. And that is it for chapter 36. I finished my drink. Still thirsty. All right, chapter 37, arcane arcs and lamps. So this chapter zooms in on specific furniture. This part reads like a sacred crafts catalog. The ark, the tabernacle, the ark, the table. Did I say the table, the lampstand, and the altar of incense. Each item is built as the Lord commanded, with more shiny gold than a leprechaun's ball. First up, the Ark of the Covenant. Verse 1, chapter 37, verse 1, has Bezalel, the chief craftsman, building a chest. Bezalel made the Ark of acacia wood. It has 2.5 cubits long, a cubit and a half wide, and a cubit and a half high. That's about 3.75 feet long by 2.25 feet wide and high. Bigger than a TV stand, smaller than a chest of drawers. So if you just want to have like a kind of like a mental picture of it. So it's a little bigger than a TV stand and smaller than a chest of drawers. So inside and out, it's overlaid with gold, of course. In verse 2, it says, he overlaid it with pure gold inside and outside and made a molding of gold around it. So practically turning a wooden box into a solid gold-wrapped treasure. Then come 4 gold rings on its corners and poles of acacia wood, also wrapped in gold, of course, to carry it. So you have a heavily gilded ark with fitted carrying straps. Imagine ancient coolers with gold trim, status symbol and holy container rolled into one. Next, the mercy seat or cover, another slab of pure gold sized to cover the ark. But the real piece there, the real piece de resistance are the cherubim. Verse 7. I don't know why I thought that was funny. Anyways, In verse 7 it says, he made the 2 cherubim of hammered gold. At the 2 ends of the cover, he made them. 1 cherubim at one end and 1 cherubim at the other end. Of one piece with the cover, he made the cherubim at its 2 ends. So these 2 angelic figures were literally crafted as part of the lid. So 1 continuous golden hammering. The cherubim stretch their wings upward over the cover, facing each other, effectively forming a divine throne. It's like the first 3D relief sculptures attached to furniture. Every time the priest lifted this lid, it was like revealing the gold-plated throne where God met Moses. Like, wow. Moving on to the table for the bread of the presence. In Exodus 37, verse 10 to 16, this is, I've summarized it, but it says, acacia wood overlaid with gold, with a rim and molding, and 4 gold rings on the corners to hold carrying poles, and this special dish, which includes plates, pans, bowls, etc., all of pure gold. One detail, he also made around it a rim a handbreadth wide, and he made a molding of gold around the rim. He sure loves moldings. Every edge is gold. The bread of the presence will be placed on this table as a perpetual offering. Then the lampstand, menorah, which is in verse 17 to 24. Also pure gold, hammered from a single talent of gold. A talent is, it's a single talent of gold. So a talent is roughly 75 pounds of gold, basically enough to fund a small nation. It has a central shaft and 3 branches on each side. The design is leafy with cups shaped like almond blossoms, petals, chalices, all in one hammered piece. 6 branches in triads from one base, each branch with ornate cups and petals. One detail stands out. He made its 7 lamps and its snuffers and its trays of pure gold. Every single bit of cleaning equipment is gold. The craftsman basically invented the concept of solid gold lamp accessories. And then finally, the altar of incense, which is in verses 25 to 28. Another acacia wood, but it's smaller, 1 by 1 cubit square, 2 cubits high. Its horns are in one piece with it, overlaid with gold like the others. Yes, baby? Hang on. Not done here yet. So she just wants to show me her show. I don't know if you can hear that, but my daughter's calling me again. She just wants me to watch her show with her. Later, baby, okay? I'm still doing my podcast. So, where was I? A molding of gold around the top and 2 gold rings with gold covered poles on the sides for carrying. Then the special spices, pure fragrant incense, are concocted per God's recipe, which is in verse 23 to 25. So this altar stands just in front of the veil. So every morning and evening incense is burned. Think of it as a tabernacle's incense diffuser, making the holy place smell like spa. I bet it smells so good. In describing these items, the Bible is very precise about dimensions and materials. It's like reading the blueprint to an art heist, but luckily it's all licensed. So it's I lost my train of thought. It's craftsmanship on divine commission. So this chapter emphasizes the sacredness of service. Every item is made as the Lord commanded, symbolizing that God's presence isn't ad-libbed but ordered. The ark is the people's hi Baba. Are you done watching? Okay. The ark is the people's covenant chest. The lampstand, the light for a dark land. The altar of incense is a bridge of prayer. Spiritually, one theme is God dwelling among his people. The meticulous care in building each object underlines that God was worth the best craftsmanship.
Mommy, so after you're done with that, and after my show, can we go where my Legos?
You want to build your? I thought you wanted to go get pretzel. But I have to do the laundry first, okay? For this, I'm gonna finish my laundry, okay? Okay. Where was I? I know. Where's my So it suggests that worship involves using our finest skills for God. For us today, maybe it's a call to decorate our own lives with our best talents and dedication for holy purposes, whatever form that takes. And for me, I think, you know, this is this is my talent. And hopefully it will reach, more people. But yeah, anyway, so fun fact corner. I have quite a list, so I'm gonna pick. Well, I have two. Let's see. We're at 21 minutes. So the gold wrapped wood. Let's talk about that. Did you know that acacia is very hard and termite resistant? And I've mentioned that on past episodes. In Egypt, where Israelites came from, building with acacia was very common, actually. Of course, Egyptians only want nothing but the best, of the best when it comes to their infrastructures and furnitures and whatever. So, anyways, so here it's wrapped in gold for the tabernacle specifically. So it is wrapped in gold like ancient flat pack luxury. That's it. And that is it for chapter 37. I'm so thirsty. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see my really big water bottle. This is 64 ounces. So very thirsty. Anyways, so chapter 38, Bronze Age bling and census rings. So in this chapter, we see the tabernacle's exterior encounterments: the big altar, the basin, the courtyard, and even the accounting of silver. First, the altar of burnt offering, which is in verses 1 to 7. A huge square of acacia wood, 5 cubits by 5 cubits by 3 cubits high. So it's about 7.5 by 7.5 by 4.5 feet. With horns of all four corners. On all four corners. Horns of one piece with it. Interestingly. And it's overlaid with bronze. Think of it as the barbecue grill of the tabernacle book. Gold plated, of course. All its tools, pots, shovels, basins, forks, fire pans are bronze. In verse 2, it says, he made horns for it on its four corners. Its horns were of one piece with it, and he overlaid it with bronze. Oh, that was a little bit of a tongue twister in the beginning. So the horns are built in, not attachments. Sturdy engineering, so it has to be built in. Gotta be sturdy. In verse 4, he made for the altar a grating, a network of bronze under its ledge, extending halfway down. A kind of shelf or grill under the altar to hold coals. Poles go through bronze rings on the altar for carrying. The whole thing is practically the Barbecue Deluxe Israel Desert Edition. Next is the bronze basin, which is in verse 7. Here's a little fun pivot. He made the basin of bronze with its stand of bronze from the mirrors of the women who served at the entrance to the tent of meeting. That's right, all the shiny handheld mirrors from the sporting women volunteers get melted down instead of admiring themselves. The volunteer ladies literally give their mirrors to become a communal wash basin for priestly ablutions. Um, the image of women at the door selling their opulence for God's work is touching. The basin is used for the priests to wash hands and feet before entering the holy place, symbolically cleansing before service. So vanity gets repurposed into holiness. A sweet, fun transformation. Then they set up the courtyard of the tabernacle, which is in verses 9 to 20. It's an enclosed rectangular area, 100 cubits by 50 cubits, with fine linen hangings all around. White curtains hung on 20 pillars on the south and north, 10 on each of the east and west side. The pillars' bases are bronze, their hooks are and bands are silver, and their capitals are silver too. The front east side has an entrance with a 20 cubit wide embroidered screen supported by 4 pillars. So the outer fence is basically white linen, bronze, and silver, a grand entrance befitting a temple, like a fancy apartment gate with gilded trim. The scripture even notes all the pegs for the tabernacle and for the court all around were of bronze. So that's right down to the tent stakes, solid bronze, so the whole thing is anchored with style. Finally, the chapter closes with a breakdown of materials, the total gold, silver, and bronze used. There's an astonishing list. 29 talents and 730 shekels of gold, 100 talents and 1,775 shekels of silver, 70 talents and 2,400 shekels of gold. So to put in perspective, that is tons of metal, like literally tons of metal. The silver mainly comes from the census, which was in Numbers chapter 1. A half shekel per adult male, which amounts to 100 talents. The bronze was from various censuses and unclaimed deposits. Rather than list everything here, note the emphasis. God's house has a big price tag. Period. The chapter ends by itemizing what each metal was used for, bases, stands, pegs, utensils, basically leaving a divine receipt for everything. Yeah. So, chapter 38 has us looking at the outer layer of sacred space, the courtyard and its implements. A broad theme here is preparation and purification. The altar and basin are all about approaching God, sacrificing and washing. The fencing around the tabernacle sets boundaries, creating a holy precinct. In the ancient world, purity was key to encountering God. These verses echo that spiritual, principle. For us, maybe it reminds us that approaching the holy requires preparation and boundary setting. We see the symbolism in mirrors turned into wash basin. Personal vanity becomes communal service. We might reflect what bronze mirrors in our lives could be transformed to greater purpose. Also, the detailed accounting of materials underscores that nothing is hidden from God. Even the outer courtyard is significant. Perhaps the lesson is that everything, big or small, even the tent pegs, matter in God's economy. Okay, fun fact corner. What's that, baby? Oh, delivery. Okay, put it right over here. Right here. Thank you. Okay, here's your payment. Okay, Fun fact corner. Counting coins. The census money, hundreds of shekels funded by the silver used. Each Israelite man chipped in half shekel. Ironically, a dose of national health care or tax precedent may have begun here. A common amount to fund the tent, much like a church fundraiser. It's one of the first national tax-like collection recorded, I believe. All right, and that's it for chapter 38. All right, chapter 39, Divine Fashion Week, Priestly Vestments and Moses' Inspection. So this chapter could be titled Pray and Play Dress Up. This is a fashion show for priests. God commanded elaborate outfits for Aaron and his sons, and the artisans delivered. So verse 1 kicks off. Of the blue, purple, and crimson yarns, they made finely worked vestments for ministering in the holy place. They made the sacred vestment for Aaron, as the Lord had commanded Moses. In other words, they wove a wardrobe fit for divine service. The chapter then lists everything. The ephod, which is the apron-like garment embroidered with gold and gems. The breastpiece, a double cloth with 12 precious stones, one for each tribe, set in gold. The robe of the ephod, solid blue with pomegranates and golden bells on the hem, and then tunics, turbans, linen undergarments, sashes, etc. So, for example, verse 27 to 28, they made the turban of fine linen, hey baby. Where was I? So the turban of fine linen, the headdresses of fine linen, the linen undergarments of fine twisted linen, and the sash of fine twisted linen, and of blue, purple, and crimson yarns embroidered with needlework as the Lord had commanded. It's basically a catalog of ancient couture. So one highlights the golden crown of Aaron's turban. In verse 30, they made the rosette of the holy diadem of pure gold and wrote on it an inscription, like the engraving of a signet, holy to the Lord. They tied to it a blue cord. I can't read. They tied to it a blue cord to fasten it on the turban above, as the Lord had commanded Moses. So that's like a headband with a flash message in glowing script. Holy to Yahweh. Honestly, if anyone dared approach the inner sanctuary, they'd instantly know the priest is walking around in holy ground. It's the first brand logo for a holy person. A statement piece. Hi, Baba. Yeah. Touching team card.
Hello.
Okay. So, okay, don't touch. Oh gosh. Oh, you touch. You touch. Oh gosh.
I want to see this.
Oh, that's gonna be too loud. I have a guest. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? The mic is right here, so the mic can hear everything, okay? So, no touching.
Say hello.
Okay, you can say, it can hear you. Say hello.
Hello.
You don't need to yell. Okay, don't touch it. It's very sensitive. It can literally hear anything. Even if you just go like this, it can hear it, okay? Okay, mommy need to finish so we can go, alright?
I'll say hello.
Okay, go say hello.
Hello.
Baby, you don't need to. You can just sit, talk like this, and it can hear you too. Okay, let me finish.
Hello.
I'm almost done. Okay? Mommy's not gonna finish if you're gonna just gonna play here. You cannot play here. Oh.
I'm going to make that.
No, not here. Not here. That's gonna be too loud. Are you listening to mommy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Are we done with the TV? Shall we go turn it off now if you're hanging out here? Okay.
Mommy, what is that?
No.
What is that?
No, that's mommy's audio stuff. All right, go. Thank you. Okay, mommy needs to finish. We're gonna stay here. We're not gonna go if I don't finish.
Okay.
Anyways. Okay. Where was I?
Hello.
All right, so after the wardrobe assembly, the chapter concludes with an inspection summary. Thus, all the work of the tabernacle was finished. The Israelites had done everything just as the Lord had commanded Moses. In other words, check, and double check, approved. In verse 43, it says, "When Moses saw that they had done all the work as the Lord had commanded, he blessed them." So Moses looks over the tabernacle and its priestly threads, sees perfection to plan, and gives them a blessing, turning a moment of sweaty labor into a spiritual benediction. And Moses says it was good. Just kidding. So imagine Moses, clipboard in hand, giving the ultimate thumbs up from the God. What's the matter, baby? Oh, it's going away now. It's healing. It's already going away. Here, the broad theme might be holiness expressed through dress and ritual. The priestly garments aren't just fancy clothes, they are symbols of identity and calling. The colors, materials, and inscriptions all point to holiness. Spiritually, this tells us that serving God has visible signs. Outward looks reflect inward purposes. In the New Testament, Paul even says we are a chosen people, a holy nation, and uses the language of garments. It suggests that when we take on sacred duties or live out faith, we wear that calling, figuratively. We wear that calling. Today, a reflection could be what are the vestments of our service? Words we speak, actions we do, ways we stand out. There's a blessing in finishing God's work faithfully. As Moses blessed the artisans here, it reminds us to pause, see God's hand in our labors, and give thanks. All right, fun fact corner. The holy ringtones, the bells. Chapter 40. Wow, this is the last, Exodus 40 describes the grand finale, setting everything up and the divine inauguration. So God starts. On the first day of the first month, you shall set up the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. This is about a year after leaving Egypt. Oh, good job, Baba.
What's that?
Yeah. So this is about a year after leaving Egypt already. So timeline-wise. Moses follows orders meticulously, piece by piece. In verse 16 it says, Moses did everything just as the Lord had commanded him. It sounds anticlimactic, no drama at all. Well, there are probably a lot of minor little dramas that were not really, good enough to be written here. But anyways, but it is a testament to obedience. Every frame, pole, curtain, and base goes up exactly as drawn. By the end of verse 17 to 24, the tabernacle was set up. Everything is in place. Ark in the Holy of Holies, table in front of it, lampstand on the other side, incense altar before the veil, altar of burnt offering for washing finished. So, I didn't say that right. Burnt offering at the entrance and the basin between altar and tent filled with water for washing. Even the courtyard, fence, and gate are done. the work is finished. Now comes the showstopper. Verse 34, or yeah, verse 34 says, Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Boom. God's presence descends. The glory, Shekinah, as it says, manifests as the cloud by day and fire by night above the tabernacle. Moses can't even enter once it's settled there. It's the breathtaking moment, the temple ribbon cutting ceremony by the divine himself. The last verses 35 to 38 note that whenever the cloud lifted, the Israelites would journey, and then it stayed. And when it stayed, they camped. This continued throughout all their journey, a perpetual guide. It's the, I guess, original GPS, God positioning Shekinah. This final chapter spotlights fulfillment and presence. The completion of the tabernacle and the descent of God's glory means God's promise is fulfilled. I will dwell among the people, it says. Like, truly happens. Spiritually, one key theme is that when we obey, God comes near. Every cover and frame said just so, and then God shows up in a cloud. For today, perhaps it reminds us that creating sacred space is more than the wooden cloth. It's about making room for God. The cloud guiding them hints that after obedience comes guidance. Sometimes the spiritual victory is finishing the work. Then the reward is a sign, the cloud of glory. We might reflect what tabernacles are we erecting in our lives or communities, and how is God's presence revealed when we complete them. Also, note the timeline. First month of second year in Jewish tradition. That's the month of Nisan, when new beginnings, Passover happens. God's presence enters at a time of renewal, maybe a hint that every spiritual new year begins with God coming in. Okay, fun fact corner. Cloud and fire. This pillar of cloud by day and fire by night reappears throughout Israel's story. For example, in Numbers chapter 9. You want to look that up. Some historians suggest it might have been a volcanic or fiery mountain phenomenon, later remembered theologically as God's glory. Others say it's purely miraculous, and I think I agree with that. In any case, this imagery became iconic. Prophets like Ezekiel and scholars reference it. It's one of the clearest Old Testament examples of God's Shekinah glory. There we have it. The tabernacle stands, complete in form and function, a mobile holy mountain in miniature. The promised land might still be a sandstorm away, but for now, God's people have a heavenly home on wheels. Up next, we head into the heavenly trilogy of Revelation. We'll pick up swords from plowshares and trumpets from lyres in the Revelation, the Lamb, the Beast, and the battle ahead. The title hints at epic hope and end times drama that shockingly is relevant to our world today. In a time of polarized beasts and sacrificial lamb, this yes. Okay, thank you. This prophetic book has a message we won't want to miss. For now, thank you for joining this journey through Exodus. May the lesson of obedience, creativity, and God with us inspire you. Thank you for listening to Chapters and Chuckles by Kaye. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. You can catch new episodes every Monday only on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Until next time, keep laughing, and as always, stay curious.